Howdy, howdy, howdy. This is your old boy Johnny speaking live from beautiful, sunny South Texas. And today's video, I want to address all you business owners that are using Facebook as your website. There's several reasons you really don't want to be that guy, and I'm going to go into those reasons here. I got a top 10 for you, so hang out and enjoy the show. Let's get this moved over here. All right. I know a lot of you think it's a cheap alternative to a website. It's got built-in traffic, it's pretty easy to set up, and it's free. So it's got a very low bar of entry. So yeah, you definitely want a business Facebook page. But you don't want to make the mistake of thinking that that Facebook business page is your home page and use it like as a landing page on your Google My Business profile and things of that nature. And here's several reasons why. First, you have no control over the platform. I just got a 24-hour suspension myself just yesterday because they decided to dig back into 2000 and find a meme that I had reshared featuring a quote by Shakespeare that is evidently hate speech. Yeah, who would have ever thought Shakespeare would be considered hate speech? That's Facebook, so you have no control. They can go through your stuff anytime, and the ground is constantly shifting as to what is considered socially acceptable these days. Moving on. The platform's increasingly flooded with ads. You may have all this traffic and all these followers, but how many are actually seeing your posts? When you post something, are all 500 of your followers seeing it, or 50? You never know. They don't give us that data. Which brings me to my next point. The statistics provided by Facebook's Pixel are increasingly unreliable compared to the data you'd get off a WordPress site, whether it's integrated with something like Google Analytics, Google Search Console. We get a ton of usable data with that we can use for retargeting purpose, A/B testing, the effectiveness of advertising, the effectiveness of your land page. We can see how long someone's been on a page, what pages they go to, what paragraph they linger on, which forums are getting the most activity, and use that to optimize your data and increase your activity and your volume, and ultimately sales. So that's the benefit of having a web page versus Facebook. Plus, unless your branding's blue and white, you have no customization options. Everything looks exactly the same. It's really bland, really boring. It's not Facebook. You can't change your background to your favorite forest scene and have Mariah Carey start piping in as soon as someone lands on your page. Gotta miss MySpace sometimes. All right, and speaking of Google products, statistically, when people use Facebook as their landing page for their advertisements, like their Google ads and whatnot, like I was mentioning, statistically, the conversion rates are terrible. Someone will see the ad, click on it, and rather than being brought to a sales funnel or a nice website or something, they just land on a Facebook page. It's just like, the conversion rates drop off a cliff. I guess because there's such a low bar to entry, Facebook pages as a landing page just look like you have no credibility. You may as well be a guy operating out of a van. So you don't want to be that guy. And increasingly, actually, the target audience is increasingly shrinking for Facebook. With a browser on the internet, searching actual search terms, you can massage the SEO and increase your ranking and your search volume. However, you can't do this with Facebook. You get what you get. And increasingly, last stat I saw, 44% of young millennials aged 18 to 29 have actually broken up with Facebook. They don't want to go on there. My own son doesn't even have a Facebook. He hates it. He's on the TikToks and the Vines and the Zooms and all this other goofy shit. So your target audience is going to be the 30 to 50 target range. The young kids hate it. The old people don't want to bother with it. So the target audience isn't there. And that's kind of essential. You'd rather have mass broad appeal, especially for a service that's relying on clicks for conversions or people to visit your site and ultimately request your services. If your target audience isn't there, you're wasting your time being there. So to recap real quick, why it's better to have a website instead of a Facebook. No control. You don't know when they're going to ban you and for what reasons. 2, the traffic volume is increasingly unreliable. You're getting more ads than people these days. The statistics that they're feeding us are garbage when compared to what we can get off of the Google Analytics plugins on a WordPress site, for example. 4, no customization options. Everything's blue and white. You can't do anything with it. 5, statistically horrible conversion rates when used as landing pages for your advertising efforts. So that just torpedoes all the money you spend on ads. And 6, target audience is increasingly not most people's target audience. So you want to make sure you are where your audience is, and otherwise you're just wasting your time putting a billboard in the middle of nowhere. So that's a quick recap of why you should have a website instead of a Facebook page as a website. Hope this helps, and if you have any questions, feel free to click below. I'll be happy to answer them.